WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. A 12-year-old will be processed in youth court after deputies allege the juvenile threatened to shoot up Nettleton School. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says the department got a tip about the threat. Investigators say several other juveniles were also involved in this incident. Now, as a precaution, there was extra police presence at the school today. This threat comes after the Sheriff's Department also investigated social media threats on August 16th at Okolona and Shannon schools. Those campuses were put on a partial lockdown last week. 3 juveniles connected to that threat will appear in youth court at a later date. Their ages are 14 and 15. Investigators say the student who made the threat does not go to Shannon High School. Johnson says the department will continue to monitor the situation and take necessary steps to keep school campuses safe. Well, the recent rash of threats made on social media and through text messages have shaken students, educators, and law enforcement. Our Cash Matlock talks with local law enforcement and prosecutors about the type of charges that kids could face. He joins us in the studio with that story.
Well, Andrea, threats of terrorism are something area law enforcement take very seriously. In fact, there's a new Mississippi law that lawmakers hope will deter other young children from making a similar mistake. Oktibbeha County Sheriff Steve Gladney says so far he hasn't had to put any of his schools on lockdown due to threats of terrorism. However, he's ready to prosecute anyone who calls in a threat, even if it's a child.
These people got to understand this is not a joke, and we're not going to take it as a joke. We're going to do everything we can to find out who's calling these threats in, and with the technology today, we're going to do that.
Area Youth Court Prosecutor Mark Jackson says there's actually a new state law regarding threats.
They passed a law for the Mississippi Terroristic Threats Law, and that is a felony offense if committed by someone that's over 18. And if an adult commits that, it's a 0 to 10-year felony. As a juvenile, however, what they would do is come to youth court, and we would determine whether or not first they've committed what we call a delinquent act.
Jackson says juveniles who break this law are usually not tried as adults, but they still face a series of consequences.
The youth court judge has the option to give them probation, but can also give them up to detention here in the Lowndes County Detention Center. A huge amount of restitution that's owed, involving law enforcement having to come out, search, close the school down for a day. And I know that is something that has sometimes even more deterrent value than even spending a week or two in detention. Is you got to pay back thousands and thousands of dollars to reimburse the county for having to do this investigation.
Jackson and Gladney say most of the time kids do not understand the severity of their actions.
Frequently the defense is I was never going to do anything, or I didn't have a bomb, or I didn't have any way to carry this out.
You know, don't let your friends talk you into doing stuff that you're going to be sorry for later, or it's going to cost your parents a lot of money to get you out of it.
If you or anyone you know receives word of a threat, Gladney says sharing the information on Facebook should be the last thing you do.
Make sure that law enforcement's notified. We'll make sure the proper authorities are notified. But, you know, just be smart. Don't do it.
Well, Jackson says usually the only way a minor would be tried as an adult in a situation like this is if they do indeed have the means to carry out a threat, or if they have a long history with youth court.
All right, Cash in our studio with that story. Choctaw County deputies asking for your help to find a suspected burglar. 25-year-old DeAndre Dotson is wanted for burglary. He's 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighs 140 pounds. Investigators say one burglary happened on Pensacola Road. He could be in a Lincoln Town Car or Mercury Grand Marquis. Both would have a Choctaw County license plate. Dotson is out on bond for another burglary arrest. If you know where he is, call the Choctaw County Sheriff's Office. A man wanted in Lamar County, Alabama, is captured in Lowndes County. 45-year-old Richard Mordecai will be charged with theft in the first degree and eluding, along with minor traffic charges by Lamar County deputies. The Mississippi Department of Corrections has a hold on Mordecai, and he remains in jail this evening. Lamar County Sheriff Hal Allred says deputies tried to pull Mordecai over on Walnut Grove Road this past weekend while he was driving a stolen car. The Vernon man eventually crashed and ran away. A little while later, another car was reported stolen in the area. Lowndes County deputies eventually caught up with him and made the arrest. Mordecai is not expected to face any new charges in Mississippi. Boonville police released new details about the hot car death of a baby last week. Friday, officers were called to Mighty Cubs Daycare, which shares a parking lot with Field of Dreams Adult Daycare. A 21-month-old baby was found dead in a car. Now, police believe the child was left in that car at a workplace in Boonville for several hours during the day before arriving at the daycare around 5 p.m. Investigators say neither daycare facility had anything to do with the events leading up to the child's death. This investigation is ongoing. The child's body has been sent to Pearl for an autopsy. A 7-year-old is recovering after being hit by an SUV over the weekend. Itawamba County Deputy Jimmy Sarton says the child was crossing Old Highway 370 in Kirkville on a four-wheeler. A Ford Expedition struck the child. Investigators say the four-wheeler pulled out in front of the SUV. The child is in critical condition at LeBonner Children's Hospital in Memphis. Investigators have ruled this an accident and say no charges will be filed. A two-car accident claims the life of a West Alabama man. Investigators say Alan Pinkerton was injured Sunday when his car collided with an SUV on Highway 18, 2 miles east of Vernon. The Kennedy man died from his injuries at DCH in Tuscaloosa. Alabama state troopers are continuing to investigate. Meanwhile, a Columbus man is indicted for an alleged shooting from earlier this year. Cavis Hill was indicted on 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of possession of cocaine. He's accused of shooting at 2 people on March 19th. Columbus police told WCBI the incident started on Waterworks Road after an argument. Gunfire was exchanged and a car was shot up. Officers caught up with the suspect in East Columbus and made the arrest. Time now to get a first look at our forecast on this Monday. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Trevor Burchett, and we got a little storm passing through Columbus right now.
Yeah, we do, Andrea. It is a stormy Monday afternoon. As a matter of fact, just got a report that the power's out on Highway 45 in Columbus at the Kroger stores. So some power outages already being reported here in Columbus. This is a look from Tupelo back to the south and east toward Columbus. This is the thunderstorm causing us all the trouble in Columbus right now. You can see that from Tupelo. Here's a look at radar. Most everybody dry, but as we zoom into the Columbus area, you can see where this thunderstorm has come in right through the city and is now making its way off to the west. More storms are possible tomorrow. I'll have that full forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
A high-flying partnership between the U.S. Army and a local manufacturing plant is celebrated today. Since moving to Columbus, Airbus has been a major supplier of the Army's workhorse helicopter, the Lakota. Our Stephanie Poole was on hand for a special delivery today. She joins us in the studio with more. Stephanie.
Yes, Andrea, since 2006, Airbus helicopters have built over 550 aircrafts for the U.S. government. This morning, the Columbus plant marked another milestone in its relationship with the U.S. Army. On Monday, Airbus delivered its 200th training aircraft. This UH-72A will be used for training at the Army Aviation Center of Excellence in Fort Rucker, Alabama. Vice President of Airbus Helicopters, Mike Spears, says this is a huge achievement for the company.
We basically started from scratch, and now we're up to 200, and we really appreciate the opportunity to support the Army and the defense of our country.
A few years ago, the U.S. Army landed on the Lakota as the initial flight trainer for aviators. Program manager Mike Arrington says this aircraft comes with all the bells and whistles.
The great thing about it is its versatility and being able to open up new missions that we could assist the warfighter in executing, specifically the National Guard. This one's for Fort Rucker, and I think it's made for the mission of what we need to do there at Fort Rucker, which is to train pilots.
Spears says that it will allow pilots to transfer into more advanced helicopters with less time and effort, as well as assisting with disaster response missions.
There are configurations of this aircraft that are part of medevac or medical helicopters. There are portions of this aircraft that are used by the National Guard for the Border Patrol activities. It's also used for search and rescue.
It also has a general support configuration to carry around passengers, damage assessment crews, things of that nature. We'll also have a security and support mission equipment package that is mainly designed to assist law enforcement.
Military and company officials are hopeful that Airbus and the Lakota will continue to be a part of the Army's mission.
It enables us to ensure that we will be able to continue training pilots.
This delivery represents the 440th Lakota helicopter manufactured by Airbus.
The seeds for a new industry could be planted in West Alabama. We find out more about the growing trend when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Andrea Self.
Welcome back. Farmers in Mississippi and Alabama could soon have a new cash crop. The recent farm bill passed by Congress lifted restrictions on the growing of industrial hemp, leaving the decision and regulations up to the states. The plant has a wide variety of uses, from plant and clothing fibers to medical applications. And a company that wants to take the crop to market is making its pitch in Lamar County. Our Quentin Smith is in Vernon and joins us live with a preview of tonight's meeting. Quentin?
Yeah, Andrea, I'm here outside Vernon City Hall, and I'll tell you, this big news definitely brought out a big crowd here tonight. We're talking about 120 new jobs that could potentially be on the way here to West Alabama. Now, happening right now as we speak, the company Bama Biotech Corporation is giving a presentation about an economic development project that would allow farmers in Alabama to grow hemp as well as produce CDB oil and fiber extracts from that hemp plant. Now, this project, it will also include Marion and Fayette counties. So that's a total of 3 counties being a part of this project. And the company says they want to have a corporate office right here in Vernon. Now, Mayor Glenn Crawford says he expects the city council to fully support this presentation tonight. But again, the meeting is going on right now as we speak. I'm going to head on back inside, but we'll have much more from this meeting coming up tonight on WCBI News at 9 and 10. But for now, reporting live in Vernon, Alabama, Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
Well, no rain in Vernon for our friend Quentin over there in West Alabama, but still coming quite a gully washer in Columbus. I'll have that full forecast coming up right after this.
Here's your WCBI First Alert weather forecast.
We had quite a hefty thunderstorm roll through Columbus just a few minutes ago. Here's a look from the top of our building and WCBI in downtown. You can see the storm just starting to push off to the west. You can actually make out right there where the rain stops. The rain has officially stopped here in downtown, just a few sprinkles left, and the heavy thunderstorm is going to continue to push off to the west. So Starkville, heads up, might get some rain here in the next few minutes. Notice though, since 5 o'clock, the heat index is down, was about 101, 102. It's now 90. Temperature is only 85 at the Air Force Base. Starkville also got some rain earlier. They're down to 79. But Tupelo hasn't got much in the way of rain today. They're still 94 with a heat index of 100, so it's still very humid out there. Here's a look at radar. You can see we're very isolated in nature with these storms. Most everybody's staying dry. We have some rain over in East Mississippi, right in the Golden Triangle, and we had a few showers over in portions of Webster County come through Eupora earlier, but for the most part, everybody is dry. Here's a look at those storms that came through West Alabama. Vernon got into some of that storm activity earlier. Starting to weaken just a little bit, but you can see it's trailing Highway 82 over toward Starkville, and then also up in Monroe County coming toward Aberdeen. It's going to get some rain here in the next few minutes. Here's a closer look at that storm as it came through downtown. Some really deep colors. That's indicative of some pretty heavy rain. Rain was actually blowing sideways here at the station. We did get a few reports of power outages along Highway 45 in Columbus. Notice also this green line. That's an outflow boundary. It actually made a cool cloud as it came over, that shelf cloud as we call it. Really just a gust of wind came with that. That's just a precursor to the storm. Take a look at the temperature map. You can see where it's rained. We're 79 in Starkville, 76 in Columbus, a little cooler now, 85 in Columbus. 75 in Amory. They got into some rain earlier. Tupelo still pretty hot, 94 up there and 93 up in Oxford. For the night tonight, maybe a few showers by 7 or 8 o'clock. Most of those will start to die out. We should be completely dry into the overnight hours. May see a few showers early tomorrow, but most everybody going to stay dry at least until the afternoon. Basically copy and paste today. Maybe a few afternoon showers. Not everybody sees them, though most everybody going to stay dry. You can see it on Futurecast. Maybe a few showers lingering overnight. Most of us stay dry, though. Tomorrow morning by 10 o'clock, most everybody dry as well. And then tomorrow afternoon, maybe a few spotty showers start to pop up. Those two start to fizzle out as we go into the evening hours of Tuesday. Now, football is finally back. I know everybody's been looking forward to this. Unfortunately, got to bring the bad news. We're going to call it a 50-50 shot for rain Thursday and Friday. Highs a little cooler, though, right around 90. Not a washout. Don't expect it to rain all night at the Friday night football game, but definitely pack the umbrella, pack the rain jacket just in case. You can see that on the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Temperatures staying warm for the beginning of the week. We dip down closer to 90 with increased rain chances for the end of the week. Rain chances decrease just a little bit, but we'll keep it at a 40% shot for the weekend and into early next week.
Less than 5 stops left on the high school football tour. Next up, the defending 5A state champs. That preview next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
The final week of the high school football tour could only begin with a reigning champion. Make that 3-time reigning state champions the West Point Green Wave. New faces will look to continue the winning tradition into 2019.
WCBI's 60 Schools in 60 Days is brought to you by Sparklight.
Not one, not two, but 3 straight seasons, 3 straight state championships. The dynasty rolls on in West Point, but the celebration doesn't last long.
It's like we win one, we celebrate for 24 hours, then the next Monday we back in the weight room.
We let them know real quick that, it's in the past. We enjoy it, have fun with it, but it's in the past. People are going to know you for what you're doing now, not what you've done for me earlier. So, our guys have done a really good job understanding that, working hard, and want to make a name for themselves also.
The Green Wave will be faced with a lot of turnover as another big and talented senior class takes their title rings elsewhere. But the West Point way is reloading, not rebuilding. And head coach Chris Chambliss says it gives new names the chance to step up.
They want to prove to people that they can play, and they want people to learn their names. They want people to know who they are, and they'll step up for us.
It's just business as usual. We had young guys struggling, trying to get to the spot that we at, but we got to tell them, just remain humble. Your time will come, let everything fall in place. Let coaches handle their job do.
Chambliss's bunch will be tested early with matchups with defending champions Horn Lake and Louisville, as well as Starkville, Tupelo, and Noxubee make up the non-conference schedule. The Green Wave have never shied away from competition and will need the extra experience for a tough division race to the postseason.
We need those game experience before we get in our district play, so that's kind of why we want to play that extra game. Is we're not going to get any better sitting at the house. And our guys need game reps. And they know we look at these early games as, we know it's going to be tough, but we're going to have to get as good as we can going into district play to have a chance. And that's what our guys are shooting for.
After that Oxford game, everybody really been looking down on us, but this season we're going to show them. In the spring, we were young because some of the guys, they were learning a new position. But now, they got them down pat.
We don't pay attention to rank. They just motivate us. If we not ranked, we just going to go even harder.
With West Point on the high school football tour, Tom Ebel, WCBI Sports.
60 Schools in 60 Days with West Point High School was brought to you by Adventure ATV, Royal Trucking, Point City Drugs, and Fast Pace Urgent Care Clinic.
Well, after today, only 3 stops to go on our 60 in 60 marathon. Tuesday, stop number 58 checks in with the Tupelo Golden Wave. Coming up on Wednesday, to Starkville we go to preview the Yellow Jackets. And then closing the tour out on Thursday brings it back to Columbus for our final stop, number 60 with the Falcons. And of course, the Friday football season begins on Friday. Watch any of those stops you may have missed this summer on our website at WCBI.com. Week 1 of the AP Top 25 poll is out. Neither Mississippi State nor Ole Miss cracking into the list. The Bulldogs did receive votes, 87 votes, ranking them at number 28, and Clemson continues to make history after being named number 1 for the first time ever. That's it for sports. Your last look is after the break.
Got a few power outages out there today, anywhere from New Hope into Columbus, all along Highway 45, some spots without power. Take it easy as we're headed home. Treat those traffic signals that are out as four-way stops. Chances for showers and storms are going to continue through the week. Best chances Thursday, Friday into the weekend, but any day this week, keep the umbrella handy.
Those pop-up thunderstorms is a hallmark of summertime in the South.
Absolutely. We should be used to it.
Yes, indeed. All right, that is the news at 6 o'clock, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll see you back here tonight at 9 and 10.